Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LFC transfer room. We've done it a little bit harder than we thought we would have to, but we have done it. Liverpool through to a fifth. Well, sorry, I'd love it if it was a fifth. A third Champions League final in 5 years under Jurgen Klopp. We've beaten Villarreal 3-2 on the night, 5-2 overall. And I'm joined tonight by Anthony, Drew, and Owen for a bit of post-match reaction. Not the post-match reaction we probably thought we were going to have to do. Probably thought it might have been a little bit more of a dull affair, but not the case. Thanks to a first half Emery masterclass, which we all knew was possible, but not quite as effective as that, with Dia getting a goal within 2.5 minutes. And then Capoue, of all people, a Tottenham reject, getting a goal about 5 minutes from half time to really put us on edge. And then in that second half, it was a Jekyll and Hyde performance. We managed to bring it back and luckily save a big finish to get us over the line. But first of all, Anthony, how are you doing?
Doing very well, mate. This is the biggest competition in Europe and maybe in the world, I guess. And it's always good to see Liverpool competing and getting to a final in there. And I think it's Coquelin who got the goal, not Capoue. But yeah,
sorry,
best feeling
right.
about reaching a Champions League final.
And Drew, how are you doing? You saying you were among the calmer of us?
Yeah, I was not surprised. I thought Villarreal would actually ease into the game, but coming out firing, I was surprised at us just being sleeping. Basically, it looked like both Trent and Robbo had a nightmare in the first half, and they weren't the only ones. But once we got into halftime, I was expecting a change in performance, but I was so surprised that Villarreal just dropped off completely. And as soon as I saw them do that, I was like, all right, we've got this. And I think everyone is expecting more of a second half performance from Liverpool all game. But as Anthony said, it doesn't matter how we get it through. We're in the final, and that's what we wanted to see. And that's all that matters now.
Yeah, and Owen, how are you feeling after that?
Champions League final, baby. Fantastic. Absolutely ecstatic. Look, we're in it. At the end of the day, we stand a chance of winning the Champions League. Another year. Look, going back a few years, none of us thought this would be possible. And just the thought of John Henderson lifting his second Champions League trophy, look, yeah, it's turning me on.
You are underage, Owen, so it does feel a bit weird you making that joke. But I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you to everybody who is joining. Please do get your comments and thoughts in on what was a crazy 90 minutes over in Villarreal. And of course, please do like the video and subscribe as well. A few people coming in now. We will get to your comments at some point as well. But we all know a little bit about how you're feeling. Let's go with that first half. I said a Jekyll and a Hyde. The first half, dreadful. Many people, maybe, I don't know, maybe exaggerating, maybe not. Let's talk through it with a little bit more clarity, saying it was maybe one of the worst halves we've seen under Klopp. One of the worst. I won't say the worst because we had some terrible players when he first came in. But Anthony, it was dreadful to watch at times, wasn't it? And I was saying, like, we're the experts in that situation, being the underdog against so many different types of opposition and coming back. You'd feel like we'd have the know-how to overcome that, but maybe there's just not a lot you can do against a team that's so up for it.
It was a strange one, I guess, and yeah, I agree. It's definitely one of the worst halves we've seen under Klopp, and it was kind of unexpected. I think we were all kind of overconfident, maybe. Maybe it kind of got us in the back there, but at the end of the day, they're knocked out and we're through to the final. But the whole team, I'd argue that the front three, maybe I can't include Jota. I don't think he played very well, but I'll put Mane and Salah. They couldn't really do much because they were just hoofing balls up to them and hoping that they'd get onto them. But there wasn't really much forward quality. And the midfield was dreadful. Keita, Thiago, Fabinho. I've expressed my love for Keita on here, but he had a shambles in that first half, and so did Thiago.
Yeah, Drew, something that a lot of people spoke about. I mean, I just don't know what happened. They weren't even necessarily under pressure for a lot of it, but Thiago, of all people, I'd hate to look at his passing stats for this game. They must have been dreadful. So many occasions, under pressure or not, where he was giving the ball away in places he didn't need to, making stupid passes that he didn't need to attempt when we were under pressure. I mean, what happened there today? Did the pressure just get to us a little bit in that first half? Were we overwrought by the situation?
I think we were just, still like just too calm. Like, I think the biggest thing, you could see it with Robbo and Trent and Van Dijk, just the fact that they were a step behind the Villarreal. They weren't anticipating. And like that being a second behind just killed us in all aspects of the first half. I think the passing was atrocious. And if it wasn't, I think we could have seen an entirely different style in the first half. Like, I think Villarreal, they pressed extremely well, but it's not like we haven't played a team that's pressed us. We usually pass the ball really well around it, and then we just neutralize them through that. But it just looked like we were stuck in, first or second gear and didn't ramp it up right away. And it was just frustrating to see. You see so many players have such a bad performance, and after seeing them flying in the past, 2 months, it kind of reminded me of the game against Manchester City at the Etihad in the first half, where we just got completely overran. But I knew we had the quality. I think Jota, it was a little unfair that he got subbed, but you could see why it was done. We needed, players who could hold on to the ball, carry an attacking threat, and just give Villarreal something different, because our passing was not there. So we needed players to hold on to the ball a little more. And thankfully, Villarreal gave us so much more space in the second half.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to mention next. That Man City game, that's exactly what it reminded me of. I mean, it feels crazy to say that we've had those performances against Man City, one of the best teams in the world, and then against Villarreal as well. But I guess the occasion kind of levels the ground. But yeah, Owen, it's not a massive cause for concern yet, because we are through to the final. We're still, the quadruple still anyone's game at this point. Well, ours, but it can happen is what I mean. But does that worry you a little bit? And I don't mean to cast a massive shadow over a great achievement for the club, but that midfield three, the NFT, as much as we love it and it is our best midfield three, I don't think, as many people were suggesting, if Henderson started, we would have been flying with the roses. I think Henderson gives the ball, I think the stats do prove Henderson gives the ball away far more often than any of those midfield three. But seeing that performance, seeing how similar it was to Man City as well, that kamikaze first half and parts of the second half as well, is that a little bit of a worry when it comes to the big moments? I know we changed it on this occasion, but against Man City we didn't, and ultimately that's what means we're still behind in the title race.
Yeah, I think if we put out that against Man City, it's going to be 5-0 at half time. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Man City are clinical, and Villarreal, they could have created many more chances because we were just so open and gave the ball away so many times. I think a proper quality team dominates there and capitalizes on it. So, yeah, I think it is to worry about for sure, because, look, any other team, even in the Premier League, and, yeah, we're really struggling there. I was surprised, really, that Villarreal made it so open for us. I was expecting it to be like the first leg where they kind of sit back and kind of make us work for it, but obviously not. Look, we got quite a few chances at the midfield. I thought Keita in the first half, I thought he was abysmal. I'm surprised Klopp didn't sub him, to be honest with you. But second half, he made up for it. I'll give him credit there. He was very, very good then. And then same with Thiago, really. Same with Fabinho, especially. Kind of everyone just upped their game. And yeah, good display second half.
Thank you to everybody who is just joining now. As it says, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We're a great place for all your Liverpool content, previews, post-match like this one, watch-alongs, daily Liverpool news, transfer news, player analysis, tactical analysis, all that good stuff. Make sure you do subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, Hyler's keen to pay homage to Villarreal because ultimately, as much as I hate their keeper, and I think he's probably one of the worst goalkeepers I've seen in quite some time, he made Karius look really, really good. We need to give homage to Emery for that first half performance. Ultimately, our quality paid its due in the end. But Anthony, they deserved what they got in that first half, didn't they? They played to their strengths. They clearly had a plan to target the fullbacks on crosses, and that obviously paying off with the second goal, the equaliser. you take Kanate and Virgil van Dijk out of the game, two massive blokes in the middle who can header anything away. You put it up against Trent Alexander-Arnold instead. You level up your chances of getting something, don't you? So you've got to give credit where credit's due, that they had a tactic, and for at least 60 minutes they were nailing it, weren't they?
I guess so, but I don't think Villarreal were anything special. I'm not gonna lie. I saw a lot of people saying that they played well. It was a Unai Emery masterclass. I thought we were just that bad. Robertson, he was just too easy to get past. I know a lot of people kind of say Trent's the one team's target, but Robertson, he's being quite an easy target to get past this season. And two of the goals, you could argue, were his fault. Obviously, the second one, Trent didn't know what he's doing, just standing still. But you know what, Emery, this is, I guess, revenge for the Sevilla match in the final, like 6-7 years ago. But who cares? He's a loser, and we're going in the final.
Do you share that, Drew? I'm not saying right or wrong. Do you think it was we were just that bad? We made them look good, or was there a bit more 50-50 in that? Oh, you're on mute.
I do think we were that bad, but I also think that Villarreal were that good that first half. Like, they came out and attacked us, so they gave it their all, and they played really well. Like, their passing was really good. They switched the ball really well. They put us under pressure, and they did exactly what they had to do to make a game of it. I do agree with Anthony's point that we were terrible, but I wouldn't take that away from Emery, because he's shown he beat Juventus, he beat Bayern Munich, and he nearly pulled off another miracle against us. So I think he gets a lot of stick for his time at Arsenal, but I think that club was in a dire situation, and they were still siding with some big egos in terms of players at that club instead of the manager. So I think he definitely deserves a lot of praise. That team deserves a lot of praise. And in the end, I think our quality just overcame it. And like you, Louis, I think the keeper was one of the worst keepers in Europe. I have no idea how he survived throughout the years. I remember seeing him last year and seasons before, and I was like, this guy is a terrible keeper. He is like Loris Karius, just looks, like he has zero composure, or Adrian even in some games. But, thankfully he fluffed his line second half, and we just took it to our sixth gear and rolled them out.
Yeah, and then Owen, in terms of, let's start looking towards that second half. At half-time, 2-0 down, dreadful performance. I mean, you can imagine Klopp went to town a little bit in the dressing room, but Luis Diaz obviously coming straight on. We know he made an impact, but was that the biggest influence, do you think? Did Klopp have some magical words, or was it switching Mane to the false nine, or a mixture of all three?
I think it was a mixture of all three, to be honest with you. I couldn't see us being any worse than we were in the first half, but Luis Diaz, what a player he is. Honestly, I'm struggling to come up with any more words to describe him. The effect he's had on this team is unbelievable. To an already outstanding team, to come in, have the impact he's had, and it makes you wonder where we would be without him, because he's been so crucial. And even when Jota, Salah, Mane, Firmino haven't been firing, you can then come in and rely on him. So look, at the end of the day, Klopp's got, not really a decision there to make for France. I think he's a nail-on starter, Diaz is. And I'm sure we'll go over a few players who will start over the next couple of weeks, but Diaz has to start that game. And look, it's so exciting really for the coming years when Diaz didn't even have a pre-season. Next season, he's going to have a pre-season, full rest. Look, I can't wait personally.
Yeah, a lot more people have just joined us. So if you are new, again, please do like the video. Please also subscribe. We're on a roll at the moment. It's incredible. So please do subscribe, and let's keep the party going into the night. Because we've only got tonight to celebrate it, and then we're focused on Tottenham. So let's keep the community growing. Get liking, get subscribing to the channel. Let's stick with Diaz for a little bit and beyond this game. I mean, Anthony, is he? I know Klopp has his favourites, and we see that with Robertson. Like, I don't know what Tsimikas has to do to just buy a game or 45 minutes of football. It's incredible. But has Diaz secured his spot for the FA Cup final, for most of our big games this season?
Definitely. I think there was some concerns over him because of his lack of goals, let's say. But who did we play? We played Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final. He was just incredible. Taking on players like it's nothing. We've not had a winger in a long time. He's like so-called traditional winger where he's taking on players, got really close control with all these fancy skills. Like again in the Merseyside derby, where did you see his touch where he jumped up in the end? The guy's crazy, but. Like Alvin was saying, we've got that many forwards now. It doesn't matter who starts. We've got enough quality regardless. And Diaz in particular, I do think he should start that Champions League final as well. And Mane up front, unbelievable. And Salah, obviously lacking in the goals compared to the beginning of the season, but that would be my favourite front three.
Yeah, I mean, whilst we talk about the absolute rise of Diaz, Drew, I don't want to say it's a downfall because it's not, but the downgrade, I guess you could say, of poor Diogo Jota. I mean, he came in last season, had to play in front of empty crowds, empty stadiums, sorry, done fantastically well for us, helped us get top four just about, and made a good start to the season, second highest goal scorer. I don't know if that's still the same or he's been overtaken or not. Nobody knows that. He's been overtaken, but for long periods, just behind Salah. And now we've got this new shiny plaything in Luis Diaz, and he's obviously done a fantastic job, and he offers something that arguably none of our other wingers or attackers do, which is that ability to beat a man consistently, get us up the pitch rapidly, and draw fouls in times of need, like today. Again, not to cast a shadow on a great moment for the club, but is there a little bit of sympathy for Jota, or are you not concerned? Like he'll bounce back. It doesn't matter. This is what a squad's all about. But I mean, personally, I almost feel a little bit bad for him. I don't think his performances deserve to start over Diaz. I think Diaz has to play. Mane false nine, Salah on the right. Definitely has to be our front three going forward unless anything changes. But there's a part of me that just feels bad for him because he was our golden boy last season, start of this season, and now he's almost being cast aside.
Yeah, I think that's just like the time. Like I think he was flying, and then he had that injury that kept him out a month, and then Diaz came in, and it was just the perfect storm against him. I don't feel bad for him though, because he's a young guy. He's got the personality where you see he's not going to just take that lightly. He's going to come and fight back, and I think his numbers prove how good a player he is. With the amount of minutes he's got, that he has that many goals, and we've constantly talked about him ghosting games and then getting 2 goals. So, he's got the qualities to stick it in the back of the net, which we need. So, if that serves us better on the bench at the moment, which he clearly does deserve to sit on the bench at the moment, with Mane stepping up after having 4 months previous to the AFCON, and Salah just being arguably the best player in the world. He's going to miss out, but that's a great problem for us to have, and one I don't think he's going to beat himself up about. I've seen him play for Portugal, and he's already kind of like pushing Cristiano Ronaldo off or not passing to him, so he definitely thinks highly of his abilities, and he's not going to let anyone take his spot lightly. So I think it's a great situation for us, and excited for focus on the rest of the season, but I can only imagine after preseason and everyone fit and firing for next season, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, again, I don't mean to go on about it, but as there's so many people joining, I must remind you to please subscribe. It just helps us out massively, and it's the easiest thing to do in the world. Just one little scroll down to the bottom right corner and one little click, and you're subscribed for life, hopefully. So please do that and help out a little community channel continue to grow its numbers, which is fantastic. So let's have a brief talk about that first goal, because I felt like the signs were coming, and I felt like the build up to that goal really demonstrated that change for us. Not just Diaz coming on, but we suddenly just looked a little bit more confident, that bit calmer on the ball, Owen. We had possession for about 2 or 3 minutes in the build up. We were playing it around the back a bit more calmly. Villarreal couldn't get near us, and then all of a sudden, their defence just seems to unfold. Fabinho's got loads of space to run into, and then ultimately a quite big error from the goalkeeper, allowing it to go through his legs from far out an angle. But it was a great way of showing that sometimes you just need to get on the ball and just take your time and just work it that little bit slower rather than trying to force things like we were in the first half.
Yeah, definitely. You could tell that it was all natural then. And yeah, when it came to Fabinho, at the end of the day, you need some luck. It's a Champions League semi-final. You have to make your own luck. That's what they say. And that you take the shot, and you got a lot of power on it. And yeah, the keeper should have saved it, really. Should have saved most of the goals, really. He had a really poor game. But look, at the end of the day, we played really good second half. And that you could tell Klopp's team talk, we said before, worked. And yeah, look, everyone in second half, I don't think you can find one player who had a bad game. And that's kind of what you look for. The reaction kind of, obviously, first half wasn't perfect at all by any means, but it's the way you react, and that's what Klopp will look for.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of comments coming in. Thank you to everybody who's getting involved. I heard that Klopp threw a hairdryer at the team at half-time, says Colbert. Anissa says, can we never do things the easy way? Of course we can't. Of course we can't. And that goal inside 2.5 minutes just demonstrated that, and instantly wiping out half of the work we did in that first leg, and putting us under immediate pressure. From then on, Anthony, I'd argue it became quite a pedestrian affair for us. After that goal, we were so much more relaxed. Villarreal instantly fell to pieces. I felt they just lost all their confidence. The crowd went, bless them. And it became quite easy from that point onwards, didn't it?
Yeah, I think like people say, the games are won and lost in the midfield, and we just didn't turn up in that first half. But second half, Keita and Thiago were unbelievable, and obviously Fabinho chipped in with a goal, and Keita got, was it the winning assist for Mane? Those two look really good, and Diaz, he was the game changer, man of the match for me. He just taking on, he got the most take-ons in the match, and he only played half of it. Boy couldn't handle him. He kept fouling him, but the fouls weren't given. But he was unbelievable, and we took control of that second half really well.
Yeah, and Drew, exactly. After that first goal, it became quite easy for us. Were you? I imagine I know what your answer is, but were you surprised at how easy it then became? Like I expected a little bit more of a fight in the final half an hour, but was it just our quality overpowering them at that point?
I was surprised how they set up for second half, honestly. As soon as, like, it seemed like everyone was late getting back from getting their beers for the crowd. Like, seemed quiet from my stream, and Villarreal just gave us time on the ball. And I honestly were like, what are they doing? You know, first half they were in our face, made it very hard for us to link together passes. And this time it almost seemed like they were like, all right, let's get it to extra time and see if we can get it to penalties. So I was like, do you remember what happened in the first leg? So I was not surprised once we got, like, it just seemed like heads down even before. And for me, Fabinho, like, to take on that shot after we've seen the keeper, you know, failing to punch the ball or have terrible clearances in both legs, you know, that we didn't see more shots on target or testing him more. So credit for Fabinho getting in the box and giving him something to deal with. And, you know, he fumbled it. So at that point, it just looked like we got into gear, and, you know, Villarreal had nothing to answer. So I was surprised that they didn't come back at us from the start of the second half. Once we scored, I thought it was game over.
Yeah, coming into that second half, they absolutely had all of the momentum, and again, I guess some of us will just never know whether it was a case of them maybe not believing in themselves enough, not getting back into the flow of it, or whether those changes just instantly got us going a little bit more in that second half and didn't allow. Because I don't remember I don't think they had any chances, did they, in that opening 10, 15 minutes? Any real clear-cut chances? I don't, to my memory, I don't think they did. So, yeah, we'll never know on that front. But again, you know, fantastic. Whatever Klopp said in the dressing room obviously worked, and that change as well made all the difference. And our midfield started to improve. Someone made an interesting comment. It was Hyla, says, what we've seen repeatedly this season is that when Liverpool meet teams with a really good midfield, we get overrun. Klopp then often makes a sub or lets one of the attackers fall deep. So we saw an example of that working today. But Owen, you made that point earlier, where if we do face Man City in the final, which is, you'd struggle to bet against that. Although I'm desperate for Madrid to win and recreate the Kiev final with us winning, it's more likely that Man City do go through. And you feel like whilst Klopp's made those changes at halftime and got us over the line in some of those games, we can't keep on leaving it to that. We've got to start to preempt these things and start Mane as the false nines, because he's better at dropping back than Jota is, and just getting ourselves set up for it from the off, haven't we? Because we can't keep letting it go to half time.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Going back to Villarreal, they're not even a good midfield, I didn't think. That was kind of the worrying thing for me. To quote Roy Keane, I was flabbergasted, kind of what happens at the beginning. If that happens to City, look, I think City will play any team in the world and they'll dominate the midfield. With us, that's nothing different. Unfortunately, I think City will have most of the possession, and we'll have to try and hit them on the counter. Not really how we like to play, really, with plop, heavy metal football. But look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We have to look at it. Hopefully, Real Madrid do get that win, because I'd much rather play them, get revenge against them for 2018. But look, at the end of the day, all we've done is got to the final, done our bit, and that's all we can do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've covered the game quite well. Just before we sort of head off, I do want to talk about the wider result of this game, which, Anthony, is again a third Champions League final in 5 years. I mean, I know Real Madrid have done some unbelievable things in the Champions League, winning it 3, 4, 5 times in a row, something crazy like that. And we're not quite at that level yet. But for an English team, considering where we were pre-Klopp and even with Klopp in his early years, we do need to enjoy these moments, don't we? Even if it all goes horribly wrong in Paris, which I really hope it doesn't, we still have to look back on getting to these finals, and the way that he's rebuilt this team and where we find ourselves today.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you need to start being more optimistic, man.
I am the most optimistic. I just can't say too many things that will come back to bite me in the arse. All right.
Well, it's like everyone has to hype on the quadruple train. That's it. That's the only way you're going to enjoy these moments. And your point about Real Madrid, we're not at that level. I think we're arguably better than them in terms of the domestic league. You know, we've got in all both finals this season. The league, we're hitting 98 points, 99 points or whatever, and we're on for another 90-plus point season. This team's incredible. It is one of the best teams in history, not just Premier League history, and we've all just got to enjoy it. We're going to win lots of trophies, and hopefully, and Klopp's just signed a new contract, obviously, so we've got more years to enjoy it.
Exactly. I mean, Drew, you are a very optimistic fan, and what a time it is to be a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I honestly don't see why people get pessimistic about our squad. It's like when you compare our squad versus anyone we're facing, we have better players. Like, we are one of, if not the best team in Europe. So I really don't see the pessimism. We have got arguably the best coach, best manager in the Europe. We've got arguably the best team, and it consistently shows. Like, I'm so surprised that pundits put us struggling to get top 4 at the start of the season. It's like last season was a joke with our injuries, and it's funny when that happened a little earlier this season. People were talking about, they changed the rules for COVID players. It's like, oh, we get games postponed and all that, but I'm not surprised seeing Liverpool fighting for every competition. I'm glad that we finally gotten those few extra players in that give us a ridiculous shout in the early stages of domestic competition. So now we get to enjoy, days, nights out, like the Carabao Cup final and now the FA Cup final. But Europe and Premier League are the big ones, and we've got Champions League in our hands. And, we'll see if City slip up. I think they are going to slip up tomorrow at Real Madrid, and that will be the downfall for them for the rest of the season. And quadruple on for us. Let's enjoy it.
I mean, we can now look ahead to that game tomorrow. We can just enjoy it kind of as neutrals, but we all have our favourites. Who are you putting down to get past on that one?
I can't see anything other than a Man City win, if I'm being completely honest. I like Real Madrid, as I say before, but look, City, if you watch the last week's game, they dominate so much, and it's draining for the opposition. Even though Real Madrid could get a few goals like they did last week, I just can't see Man City not getting the amount of chances that they got before and not taking them.
Yeah, and Anthony, what about you for tomorrow's game?
I hope it's Real Madrid, but I think deep down we all know it's going to be Man City. But you never know. Benzema, he's insane. As much as I love Salah to win the Ballon d'Or, I think he's probably the front runner at the moment.
Would you say that, Drew? You know, there's a lot of shouts for Sadio Mane. I think if Mane was to be up there and win it, I mean, depending on how many trophies we win, this is just off cuff. This is nothing to do with post-match or anything. But if Mane was to be in that conversation, does the Ballon d'Or just become a case of literally what are your numbers for this season in terms of trophies? Because by no means, from a footballing stance, should Mane beat Salah or Benzema to the Ballon d'Or, should he?
I honestly don't know how they choose. I heard they were changing the rules a bit to make it more stats based or more personal performances, but it just seems like almost like a Hollywood show where they're picking who has the best narrative for the winner. But I don't know. I actually think Real Madrid, it will be a much tougher match than people expect for Man City at home for Real Madrid, and Ancelotti's a brilliant coach, and City should win, but I think that just adds more pressure to them. So I'm gonna have complete fun as a neutral, and we'll see. Hopefully Benzema does knock him out.
Yeah, well, it should be a great game, and we finally get to enjoy something that doesn't involve us. So looking forward to that. But that will conclude our post-match reaction to Villarreal 2, Liverpool 3, and overall on aggregate over the 2 legs in the Champions League semi-final finishes Villarreal 2, Liverpool 5. We are through to another Champions League final at the end of May. We're through to all possible finals. We are in it to the death in all competitions available to us. It's a gargantuan season for us. Who knows how it's going to end, when it may end, but let's just enjoy it for what it is for as long as we can. Thank you very, very much to everybody who's joined. There's lots of new faces in the live chat and watching us, so please do subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you stick around, because this might be the last time you ever see us if you don't, and you don't want that, do you? It's plenty of football in this season left, and you want to be part of the Liverpool community to enjoy it all. So please do subscribe. Thank you to Anthony, Drew, and Owen, and everybody in the live chat and watching. Again, like the video, subscribe, get involved. Thank you very much for watching the LFC Transfer Room post-match reaction, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.